It's gonna be a great day. The sun is shining, the day is bringing surprises, so I gotta do my thing and help my friends win. We're on a collective mission to elevate our positions, to collect the funky dividends. So I offer a helping hand to my fellow sisters and brothers, encouraging them to...
Hi everybody, welcome back to Fire with Dr. Ninja Turtle. This is my April end of month spending report. And so you will see that I spent a lot of money in April because I was traveling for 3 weeks, visiting friends. When I'm traveling, I tend to spend a lot more money both on hotels and on restaurants. So let's get right into this. And then at the end of this update, we'll talk about my May expected expenses. I almost never go to Publix, but I went to Publix and spent $35.80. I had an unexpected expense with my car of $387. And this was the maintenance on my car, which would have been less money if I had had it done in Alabama. However, I was in Maryland and I took it to a dealership and they really tried to charge me. And then their estimate of what my car needed was another $5,000. So I told them just do the minimum maintenance on my vehicle, and I knew that whatever I needed, I would get done in Alabama. Also, you can see that I spent $1,353.87 on restaurants. I did go out to eat a lot, and I went to some very nice restaurants in both Maryland and North Carolina. My vacation hotel was the highest cost in the month of April at $2,426.31. That's because I was traveling and staying at the Holiday Inn Express for about 3 weeks. I did spend a few days staying at a friend's house, which lowered my expense, but it was still quite high. My vacation gas was $413.45, and we all know why that was so high. My gas in Alabama for the month of April was $59.69. That was not that much, but I did not spend much time this month in the state of Alabama. My lawn care was $360, and that will go up in future months as we get more and more lawn care maintenance. My internet was $72.95. My medical was $56.39. Remember, I keep my receipts and I invest the money so that I get quadruple tax advantages later. Also, in the month of May, this is just an update, I have both a doctor's appointment and a dentist's appointment, so that will be maybe another $800 that I will save towards my health savings account in the month of May. I did go to Sam's Club before I left on my trip, and that was $81.53. I did not get any cash in April because I got my cash in March, and so therefore I had plenty of cash in my wallet for my April trip. So let's look at our total after we look at the $296.77 that I spent at Walmart. I did go to Walmart during my trip, and I bought a bunch of supplies to take in my car so I would have snacks to drive while on my trip. So the total for the month of April is $5,543.76. That's quite a bit above my target of $900 a month, which I really think in the month of May I can stay under my $900 a month because I'm not traveling. We compare that to the month of March, where I spent $1,144. So I was a little bit over my $900 limit in March, but we spent $5,543.76 traveling, which is quite a bit of my monthly income, which we're going to look at a little bit later. Let's look at my credit card expenses for the month of April. I had the $300 car maintenance expense come out. And also, I have insurance come out quarterly on one of my rental properties from my credit card. Most of the other expenses for insurance on all my rental properties comes out of a bank account where my money goes in every month from the property management company. But this one rental comes off my credit card. I began the month of April with a balance of $5,889.57. The interest was $55.62. I used on my credit card $5,543.76, but I paid on my credit card as income came in $2,919.19. My payments did not keep up with what I was charging. So my current balance to start May is $8,569.76. For my line of credit, I started the month with a balance of $26,035 and I was charged interest of $302.43. What I used on my line of credit is $3,466. And let me explain. I move money from my line of credit temporarily to pay something, and then I know as soon as some income comes in, I put that money right back on my line of credit. So while I used it for $3,466, I actually paid on it $4,026.81. And so, therefore, I lowered my balance on my line of credit during the month of April. So, when we look at the total between my credit card and my line of credit, I started the month at $31,924.57. I ended the month at $34,346.38. So, my total debt went up $2,421.81. Now, this does not count what I had to pay the IRS, which we'll get into in just a moment. Let's look at how my retirement accounts did during the month of April. I started the month at $135,047.12. As mentioned by Julie at Happy on Monday, the stock market did really well in the second half of April. So I ended the month at $149,195.95. We hope the stock market continues to rally. Let's look at my savings rate because I always want to show you how much I'm saving. And what this is this is the percentage of money that I'm either putting in my emergency fund or paying on debt relative to the amount of money that I have as income. So in January, I had a very high savings rate. But then I started to bring some more money home so that I could pay on debt that I knew was coming in April with the IRS. So in February, it was 38%. In March, it was 32%. In April, my savings rate is 29%. And you might say, how do you have a 29% savings rate if you were spending more on your credit card? Well, it's because I took my rental income and put it into my emergency fund. And I'll talk about that in just a moment. So let's talk about my overall debt this month in the month of April. So originally, my CPA told me before I left on my trip that I owed the IRS $27,746, that I owed the state of Alabama $4,473. I paid the state of Alabama before I left on my trip, But about tax time in the middle of April, my CPA said that my numbers were revised and that I only owed the IRS $25,416 and that I owed the state of Alabama $4,044. This is all good news in that I overpaid the IRS by $2,330 and I overpaid the state of Alabama by $429. On Monday, I'm going to call both the IRS and the state of Alabama and tell them to apply this money towards my 2026 taxes. Because in 2026, I'm going to do the right thing that I tell everybody else to do, and I'm going to pay quarterly taxes. So let's look at my income for the month of April. This is new. I'm going to be sharing this every month, what my income was and what my estimated next month's income is. And so all of this will be going towards debt payoff. So in the month of April, between my pension, Social Security, my teaching income, and my rental income, of which I never know until the middle of a month what my rental income is going to be, I had $10,181. I spent $5,443.76 this month. That means that I spent 54.45% of my income this month. Now, $2,000 that came in from rental income went directly back into my emergency fund because I had to empty my emergency fund to pay the state of Alabama before I left on my trip. My estimated income for the month of May is $7,325. I will have expenses with my rental properties in the month of May, so I am not expecting any income, and it may be negative, where I'll have to take away from the $7,325. But we won't know until the middle of May. So whatever I have in the middle of in May, I will pay on my debt. I hope to live on 10% of my income, and I hope to pay triple on my credit card. I hope to pay double on what I owe the IRS because I took out a loan from my line of credit to pay the IRS. The loan was $25,000, and I will make double payments on that line of credit. And when that line of credit is paid off, I will close that line of credit because I am trying to save that $25,000 in my emergency fund for future expenses. This is Editing Daryl here. I had finished the video, but I forgot to tell you about some critical plans. This is the 2nd of May. I've already started paying down my debt. So every week when income comes in, because one college pays me one week, another college pays me the opposite week, and then one college, which will start in July, the money starts coming in, will pay me once a month. So in June and July, I will have money coming in every single week. So I will take that money, pay it down on my debt. I may do shorts to show you how much I've paid down on debt each week. What I want to leave you with is a quote by Dolly Parton. In order to see the rainbow, you have to put up with the rain. And that's what I'm doing. I hope to see the rainbow by the end of 2026. Remember, never let your past determine your future.